Now we're going to talk about how do you find the right home and the importance of having a realtor set a search up for you versus you just setting up a search online, with Zillow or realtor.com or Redfin, any of those. So the reason it's important to have a realtor set you up on a search is because number one, all of the information is much more accurate. Sometimes when the information filters out from the MLS, which stands for the multiple list service, that's where realtors put all of their information when they have a listing. When it filters out to the third-party sites, errors can happen. And trust me, I have seen it. I've had a house before that had, 3 bedrooms and they were saying it had 5, or it had 1 bathroom and it had 2.5 on Zillow. So things aren't always so accurate when you're using the third-party sites. So you have better accuracy. You also have the ability to have your search be more tailored to what you're looking for. We have a slew of criteria that we can select or deselect and do our best to really tailor it down to what you're looking for. But I'm also talking about tailoring it to your financing needs. If you're a cash buyer, you can buy whatever you want. If you're a conventional borrower, if you've approved for a loan and you can go conventionally, you have more options. You can pretty much buy whatever you want with the exception of some things that are, only requiring cash. Where it is important is if you are using a government-backed loan. If you're using an FHA loan, a VA loan, or a USDA loan, it's very important to have a realtor set you up. They can tailor it down to only show you houses that will work for your financing. And what that means is whenever you borrow money to purchase a house, you're going to have an appraisal. The appraiser for the conventional house is mostly just looking at it for dollar value. When you have an appraiser go through a property and you're using a government-backed loan, again, FHA, USDA, VA, they put on their little rose-colored glasses and they look through the house for more than just dollar value. They're looking for things. Mostly their goal is they want to see you get into a safe, healthy home. So if there's no handrails going down steps, if there's like more than 3 steps, there has to be a handrail. If there isn't one, they're going to call for one. If there's broken windows, even so far as if there's missing trim, if there's holes in the flooring, if there's holes in the walls, if the house was built before 1978, if there's lead-based paint in that house, they are going to be looking for chipping and peeling paint, because the last thing you want is for your little kiddo to go, "Oh, what's that little crumble on the ground? I think I'll pick it up and eat it." We don't want that to happen. So they would say this chipping and peeling paint needs to be scraped and repainted, and all those chippings or scrapings or whatever needs to be cleaned up. So we can tailor down your search to only show you houses that have been entered into the MLS with financing options. So if another realtor has a listing and they put it in the MLS saying we will accept FHA, VA, USDA financing, and your buyer's agent sets your search up to only show you houses that have those things listed, then those are the only listings you're going to get in your search. If you just set your search up on Zillow or one of those other third-party sites, I don't know that you have the ability to do that. So the last thing you want, the reason that's important, is because the last thing you want is to fall in love with a house that you cannot buy. You don't want to fall in love with a house that you can only pay cash for or only use a conventional loan for if you can only approve for a government-backed loan. That's why it's super important. The other reason it's important is because there's little tools in there that connects you directly to your agent. If you see a house that you love, you can mark it as a favorite. You could put a heart on it and your realtor will see that. You can also reject listings if you're like, "Ugh, I would never live there." Reject it. You can also mark it as a possibility. So your realtor knows, well, they're kind of pondering this one. It might be a good fit. You can also leave them notes in there. Your realtor can check on your search and see if you've asked them any questions or anything like that. So after you have all of these houses coming into you, when you start to see ones that you like and you want to go see, then you let your agent know. You say, "Hey, I want to go see this house." You guys communicate with each other and you find out when's the best time for you to go. Your realtor will then most likely go online. There's a thing called showing time. That is how we request showings, and that is how the sellers confirm those showings, and then we get the okay, and we go take you house shopping. It can be the most fun part. Some people don't care for it. I personally think it's super fun, but we just gather up a few houses, or just maybe one. If you only like one, we go out to see one that day. However, I don't recommend seeing more than 4 in one day. Now, there's exceptions. If you're an out-of-town buyer and you need to fly in from Texas or something like that, and you have to see 8 houses in a day, so be it. But I have found, generally speaking, that once you start to see more than 4, I see my buyers glaze over. They just start to zone out. They all start to run together. It can just be too many. So just a little food for thought. But that's another important reason to have a realtor, because they can help you tailor things to really what you're looking for. And, you just get these little houses emailed to you, easy peasy, and then you go house shopping.